Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. Today I'm looking at an excellent book which has come to us from ELGAR Publishing, an independent family firm of publishers. They produce a lot of really high quality academic legal information, and this particular book got my attention very quickly because I'm always interested in the history of law. And this one is a research handbook on the history of copyright law, which of course is fascinating. It's been edited by Isabella and Tomas Gomez-Arostegui, and there are a large number of people who are contributors. We'll look at those people in a moment. The book is available as both a hardback, which is this version here, and as an ebook. As I say, it comes to us from ELGAR. Now, Elizabeth and I have given a title for our review, which is on the web and in the journals, How Copyright has Emerged as a Substantive Law Area in Its Own Right. Let's just have a look at the book, because I rather like this book, I must say. There's the front, some old stuff there. Then there's the spine, and then there's a little bit of content on the back, which I refer to in the review. The book is a hardback, actually, nice green cover. Runs to just under 500 pages. There's the index at the back. And of course it's contributions from a large number of people. It's very much the house style for their research books by ELGAR. There's the index, the start there, and then just before the index you've got a very detailed, very substantial bibliography, which you would expect to have. This is part of the research handbooks in intellectual property from ELGAR, and so as to be expected, that's the list of what's actually available so far. Then you've got the front page there. You've got some information here concerning how to look at it online, and plus the ebook details, and then there's a note concerning tracing copyright holders if anything's been overlooked, so they're covering themselves. Then there's a very nice dedication, which I shall just show you there. It's an important one for Catherine Several. Now, this is the contents itself. A lot of contents. 4 parts, 19 chapters in total, and here's the list of the contributors, which I'll just show you there and there, and then you go straight into the book itself with an introduction, which I refer to again in part. There's a definition as well. There is some footnoting, and you can see all the way through there's quite a substantial justification of all the submissions made. You do have useful headings. You don't have paragraph numbering, but you do have quite a lot of subheadings all the way through. And of course it's very global. This is El Salvador we're looking at, for instance, there, just to take an example. Very interesting book. Certainly anybody in IP, I think, will find this fascinating to look at. So what do we think in what is a short review of this work? We think this. Anyone remotely interested or involved in how the law of copyright has developed in our new IT age will find this book a magnificent journey through special parts of our common law history, and that's really what it is. The editors begin by saying that the study of copyright's history dates back almost to the birth of copyright as a statutory construct, which will help us all as legal historians. The two editors, then also consider the importance of what a handbook is. I thought that was quite interesting, I must say, by using an OED definition as a book small enough to be easily portable and intended to be kept close to hand. And that is what you've got here, of course. It's produced in less than 500 pages. I've said words, but it's actually pages that we've got here. They look at the emergence of copyright during the common law copyright debates of the 18th century, moving to the lawyers' texts of the 19th century, and then a move to copyright to outside the legal academy, as is put, in the 20th century. In other words, from the strict legal stuff, which is the backcloth historically, to the much wider area, which of course copyright now covers, because of course many more people have become intimately involved in this fascinating subject in the last sort of certainly the last century and the last 2 decades alone, because of the changes that are taking place very, very quickly, IT and so forth. It's no longer IT in that sense, because it's actually part of what we do, the fabric of what we do today. So the starting point for copyright can be seen with Kaplan Carpentier's lectures in 1966 and his work, which was entitled An Unhurried View of Copyright, where he actually talked about the communications revolution of our time. Remember, this is 1966, which is now, of course, 50 years ago. Unfortunately, we remember it all so well. It's not that long ago, actually. But it's interesting to see the communications revolution of our time only 50 years ago. So you see how things are in the historic context. As the 17 contributors rightly say, there's been an explosion of interest in recent years regarding the origin of intellectual property law. They conclude that the study of copyright history in particular has grown remarkably since the 1990s, with a flurry of activity since 2005. So what exactly is copyright today? It's best described, and I give you a quote, as an exclusive right which vests in original literary, dramatic, musical and artistic works, as well as broadcasts, films, sound recordings and typographical arrangements. So the list's pretty big and expanding with IT developments to a much wider group of people. And I think we have to recognise, even since the 1990s, of what a big change has taken place with so many people now using a very wide range of different types of computer and associated technology, which is totally different from anything we've seen before. Now, the research handbook then evaluates the field of copyright history as it stands today and reviews contemporary and potential developments. The contributions from the excellent and very, very experienced people who've written the various chapter headings cover copyright, and history experts from across the globe are involved: the UK, Australia, the United States, France, Spain and Italy. It also covers European, US and international copyright history from the 16th century to the earliest 20th century. Remember one thing, copyright isn't that new. It's been around a long time, and I think even though we've only got a legislative basis relatively recently, it's been around with us for a while. And in short, I'd like to thank Edward Elgar very much indeed for giving us a broad survey here of copyright, and it gives us a solid foundation for future legal research in what is such an important area for both business and art. And let me conclude by saying that academics researching copyright law, authorship, art and the book and music trades we know will find this title an invaluable resource for their work. Will also, I think, be of interest and use to practitioners and the judiciary who have an interest in the doctrinal history of copyright law, which is so well set out here and is yet another example of the excellent publications which ELGAR are known for when it comes to research, and especially in this case IP. Obviously we can't do our work, and certainly we can't do the high-level academic work without this sort of publication, and we are indebted to ELGAR for continuing to publish these works for us, because it does save a lot of time, certainly in looking things up. The publication date cited at 2015. This is the book again. I'll just show you it. It's green cover. There we go. As I say, anybody who's interested in history and law, I think will find this interesting. There are some very interesting subjects which are covered in the book too. I'm just looking at the book again, and looking at the United Kingdom perspectives. Start in 1710, the Stationers' Company in England, and the anatomy of copyright in Scotland. Again, this is in the 1700s. Then you've got international perspectives, national perspectives, for instance, in America. So you've got a very wide range of information. One thing I did like, philosophies of copyright, very interesting. It is important because once you have produced something, and I've given you the definition of what copyright is, it's yours. And you can understand why people get a bit upset when other people borrow things when they shouldn't do. And that's where we come in. Anyway, thank you very much to ELGAR, to Isabella and Tomas, very much indeed for their work, and all the contributors. I can't mention them all by name. But thank you to everybody concerned for an excellent publication. Bye-bye.